We live in this age where we're always connected, right? An entire universe of people is just a tap away on our phones. So why is it that so many of us feel more isolated than ever? Today, we're going to dive into that strange paradox of our modern digital lives, where the promise of connection so often just leads to burnout.
And this feeling right here, this is pretty much the heart of the whole problem. This is a quote from a real person over on Reddit, and it just perfectly nails that feeling of dating app burnout. That endless soul-crushing swiping, the sketchy profiles, the sheer work it takes, it's a shared frustration for millions of us.
And this image, it just perfectly captures that core issue, doesn't it? We're all glued to our screens, supposedly connecting with each other, but the result is often this feeling of being completely alone. The thing is, this isn't an accident. It's actually a symptom of a much deeper problem with how these platforms are built from the ground up.
So let's really unpack this paradox. We're going to dig into the numbers because honestly, they tell a pretty fascinating and frankly, kind of shocking story about the state of digital dating today.
Okay, so first, let's just talk about the sheer scale of this. Get this, almost 100 million adults in the US alone have used dating apps. That's roughly a third of the entire adult population. So yeah, this isn't some niche thing anymore. It's totally mainstream. But, and this is a big but, here's where that paradox really kicks in. Out of all those millions of people, a huge majority, we're talking 57%, say their experience was negative. They called it frustrating, disappointing, or even worse. Just think about that for a second. A product used by literally tens of millions of people is failing most of them.
And if you need more proof that these products just aren't working for people, look at this. A whopping 67%. That's more than 2/3 of all users quit the big dating apps in just the first 90 days. This isn't people giving up too easily. It's a massive crisis for the products themselves. It's this revolving door of hope and then disappointment. And that cycle, it really takes a toll.
So what's going on here? Well, if you've ever felt that burnout, I want you to know it is not your fault. The real problem is baked right into the business model, into what you could call the addiction playbook. Okay, so here's the key thing to understand. So many of these social apps are built around what are called addiction loops. Features like infinite scroll or endless swiping, they aren't there to help you find a connection. They're literally built to hijack your brain's reward system to keep you scrolling, keep you swiping, to maximize the time you spend staring at the screen. Because in that model, it's your attention that's the real product. So this really lays out the two different paths we can take. You've got the old playbook, where success is all about screen time. More minutes, more hours, that's a win. But then there's this new idea, a new North Star, where success isn't about engagement at all. It's about your actual well-being. It's measured by real connections and, happier outcomes in the real world.
Okay, so that brings us to a much more hopeful part of this conversation. Because if bad design got us into this mess, then better design can get us out. We can actually build tech that aims for happier endings, not just, endless scrolling.
Seriously, just take a second and think about this question. What if an app's success was measured by how little you needed it? What if the whole point was to help you find what you're looking for so you could delete the app and get on with your life? It's a pretty radical idea, right? It flips the whole business model upside down.
And the cool thing is, this isn't just some hypothetical question. There's actually a new blueprint out there for building social platforms that are way healthier, safer, and just better. And it's all based on a totally different set of values. So this new blueprint, it really stands on three main pillars. First, you've got to build everything on a rock-solid foundation of trust. Second, you have to actively build a bridge from the app to real life. And third, and this is huge, you give the power back to the people, to the users themselves. Let's break each one down.
All right, pillar number one, it all starts with verification. Just making sure the person on the other end is who they say they are. This isn't just about weeding out bots and scammers, but it's also about cutting down on that mental drain, that constant, is this person even real feeling? And the data totally backs this up. Verified profiles get a 28% higher reply rate. Why? Because trust is everything. It's the absolute bedrock of a real connection.
Okay, pillar number 2. This is a big one. It's about thinking of the app as a bridge, not a destination. The whole point is to actively encourage people to take their connections into the real world. So imagine an app that doesn't just suggest meeting up, but actually has features designed to help you do it. An app that celebrates when you log off to go meet someone. The goal here is to enhance real life, not compete with it, which is the complete opposite of that old addiction playbook.
And that brings us to our third pillar, community governance. So instead of a handful of execs in a fancy boardroom making all the decisions, this model actually gives the power to the people who use the platform every day. You, the user, get a real say in what features get built, what the rules are, and where the whole thing is headed. What that means is the platform actually evolves to meet the real needs of the community, not just what its creators think the community needs.
When you put all this together, the implications are, well, they're huge. And listen, this isn't just about making better dating apps. This is about completely rethinking our digital future. It's about demanding that our technology becomes fundamentally more human.
So, what does a better digital future look like? It means we need a whole new set of priorities. It means we have to prioritize authenticity over just letting everyone be anonymous. It means we have to start measuring success by our well-being, not by how many hours we stare at a screen. It's about building platforms that are there to serve us, the users, not just some abstract engagement metric. And maybe most importantly, it's about designing technology that makes our real lives better, not something that tries to replace them. So, I guess we'll just leave you with this final thought. What if the whole point of all this amazing technology wasn't just to capture and hold our attention, but to actually, genuinely improve our lives?